we're going to be exploring on this one, again, a little bit of an abstract theme, you know. How do you find story?
Yeah. Yeah, basically, what we're going to be playing with is the idea that the heart of this story, okay, is not what's right in front of you on the page or what's obvious. It's going to be something beneath that, much deeper than that. And you as an actor are going to have to explore, not with your mind, but with the whole instrument, with your mind, your body, your voice, everything, to find this story and to find the heart of this character.
Yeah, you know, you tell stories not just through the lines. And that, again, that's obvious in some cultures or to some people. A lot of people have a hard time understanding that because sometimes just the way that they've lived life, you know, at some point in their lives, because children are very creative, and I think at some point some of them are obliged to or decide unconsciously to shut down that door. And we get a lot of people, you know, who come to our studio a little bit later on in life, and they say, I always wanted to be an actor. I always had the calling, but I didn't have the courage to do it. So here I am. And then they go through this struggle because they're trying to find all the answers intellectually. You know, because that's how they've always done everything in life, like trying to reason everything.
Trying to figure this out.
Yeah.
It's part of a process that some actors will go through, that what we call technical excellence, is actually sitting down and playing around with things like the goal, the actions, the obstacles, and little things like that. Different techniques that are played with in that phase as well. But ultimately, to be a master of everything, you have to leave technique or the
Make it second nature. You're not thinking about it.
Right. You have to let go of that need to have everything figured out, to use my mind to figure out what this acting thing is. It doesn't really live there. Extraordinary acting is in your imagination and in your intuition. And that's what you've got to fire up and get used to using.
Yeah, so we do a lot with that. Sometimes actors trying to figure out acting. You know, oftentimes when we see a scene and they're so far off the story, and we ask them, so, you know, what's going on with your character, with you? You know, tell me what's going on, and they'll kind of throw us the pot. Well, my character woke up this morning and there was a phone call. It's like, we know that. We read the script. We saw the movie.
Yeah.
You know, but what does that make you feel like? What does that make you, you know, be as the character?
Yeah.
You know, so that's the story. And a lot of actors are trying to figure out the plot. They're trying to figure out the acting. And they're missing the story. And I think a big clue about stories is that other person across the room from you. The relationship.
Yeah.
Is that other person. That's when the stories are really hot. You know, it's when you're really connected, when you're in relationship with the other person.
Yeah.
Because you tell stories together. You know, human beings are all about relationship.
Yeah.
You know, you wouldn't know you want something, or you want to be someone, or you want to achieve something in particular if it weren't for another person.
Yeah, we often say that in class, like the story actually is this dynamic, this energy between two human hearts.
Right.
And if you've got that connection and that courage to open your heart and be that vulnerable, then the story will show up almost without thought. It's just there.
Yeah.
And the other thing that happens, if you're really in that groove or that connection with the other person, every take is going to be a little bit different. You know, that character is going to say something just a little different this time, and my character is going to respond to that a little bit different, even with the same line. It's a great exercise to sit there and figure out one line can mean so many different things depending on what the character needs it to mean in that moment.
Yeah. And that is kind of very obvious when you see an actor going through take 1, 2, and 3 in which his or her scene partner is doing different things and they're reacting
doing the same.
exactly the same way.
Yeah.
As if, you know, I could just remove the other actor and they would just do the whole scene on their own.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean by an actor trying to figure out everything.
Yeah.
You know, they have decided how they're going to play it, and there is just one way of doing that. And that's not really how we tell stories nowadays. There is no real relationship. We, as the audience, we fall in love with the relationship more than the character,
Yeah.
himself or herself. You know, we care about the relationship. If we have a very self-absorbed actor playing Romeo and a very self-absorbed actress playing Juliet, we don't believe in their love. We don't care.
We don't care. Yeah, yeah. It's that dynamic that's very special. And in that relationship, you're going to learn more and more about the heart of your own character. You know, from take 1 to take 2, you will learn something new about your character because of that relationship. You know, it's almost like actors will sit down and they'll try to make all these decisions for what the character's going to do, how the character's going to say this line and everything else. And the deal is, until you actually know the character, you're going to be wrong, you know? The character answers those questions, not an actor analyzing the script.
Yeah, and you can always go a little bit deeper, you know. So for you to understand that, you know, we watch movies, we see a final product. But before that, the editor put the whole thing together, you know, you had several takes with several different options.
Yeah.
You know, so decisions were made and you had a final product. Now, when it comes to plays, if you're, you know, doing a play, every night it's like a different take. So every night should feel fresh, should feel different.
Yeah.
You know, the lines are going to be the same, the storyline's going to be the same, but how you're going through the motions should feel slightly different. So that's what I mean about always going deeper. When you don't decide how you're going to play, you're going to discover new things every night. And then you have to let go of those things because you cannot play them again, you know. Sometimes amazing moments show up and you go like, oh, I wish it could happen again. And if you try to recreate that the next night or the next take,
then it's dead.
It's horrible. You just screwed it.
Yeah.
You know? So that's the thing, is being in the moment. At some point, you know, you've done all the work. You know, you use your technique in rehearsals. You've done all the work. You know all the lines. You know all your actions. Now you let go and you let the character show up. And every single night, the character is going to tell you something more about the story.
That's what's exciting. Even from take to take, you know, take 20 and something. To me, it's even more exciting because, wow, I'm going to learn something new.
Take 20.
Hopefully not, but it happens. and then also, like, from one night of a performance of a play to the next night of the play, how exciting it is because you know it's going to be different. I'm going to learn something new about the heart of this character and how that human heart changes.
Yeah, so, you know, I find it interesting also in class when people get stuck in a way of doing the scene. So, you know, we're trying to break them out of it. And sometimes we ask them, so how did you rehearse?
Yeah.
And oftentimes they'll say like, well, I decided to play it like this because I don't think my character would ever do this, ever. Doesn't make sense for my character to ever say this like that. And then we tell them that's exactly what you have to do.
Yeah.
You have to do the thing that you think your character would never do or say.
Yeah.
You know? And that's what I mean by predetermining how you're going to play a scene. Because we truly don't know, you know. Most of us, we're really not that good in actually understanding other people. We think we are, but it's from our perspective. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And that's okay, you know, in real life. That's okay. You have your own set of, you know, views, and you don't have to give that up. But when you're telling stories, you cannot come in and say, oh, I hate my character, she's a bitch, and then I'm gonna play her that way. You know, because the character might not even know, you know, she
Yeah.
looks like that in other people's eyes. Maybe she thinks that what she's doing is something good or correct. I don't
Yeah.
know. So you can't really judge from your perspective.
No, if you make a negative judgment about your character, you won't be able to find the heart of that character. I've always said that. You can't, no matter how big a villain or what a monster the person is, find out what it is that makes that person believe, that character
Right.
believe that they're doing this and it's what they're supposed to do. You have to find that if you're going to find the humanity. And that's the most important thing. Let the character show you where their heart is. And always understand that every time you do it, every time you do that take, you're going to go deeper and deeper into that understanding of this other human being. That's exciting to me.